Yes, I know it is just a practice pull. I also know that Leonidas had an intense arms workout before he showed up for this practice. Despite knowing these things, I still am officially changing my prediction to Brian Shaw winning this upcoming super match against Leonidas Arcona. First of all, why would you get exhausted and then show up to such an important practice? Who does that? He traveled to Canada to do this practice to get ready for the Brian Shaw match and decided to go for an arms workout in Devon's basement, go max out on bicep curls, and then show up exhausted. And Devon said that we were able to break Leonidas Arcona pretty soon. He's not conditioned well for arm wrestling because of the 1 year inactivity. This tells me that if Leonidas can decide to do such thing before an important practice like that for his upcoming super match, he can very well do that before a super match as well. And in fact, he has done that. He likes to do that. I don't remember if it was Devon or Neil Pickup or ENGIN, but someone was saying that Leonidas always has an arms workout either a day before the match or even on the day of the match. He did that before facing Schoolboy. He did that before facing John Brzezinski. Maybe an upper body workout or maybe an arm workout. Anyway, but when the athletes see him doing that, they think Leonidas is crazy. Now you may think that Leonidas knows his body better than anyone else, which is true. But then in this case, he showed up exhausted and got tired immediately. So clearly he is also human. It's not like he can do an arms workout and still be fresh, still go for hours on the practice table. He cannot do that. It is affecting him. So he shouldn't be doing that. And that's why I think it is going to be a difficult day for Leonidas. I didn't expect him to go down so easy against Curtis Cameron Porkchop. Despite being tired, he should have done better than that. He is way heavier than Porkchop and he should have been able to take his wrist pretty easily. But he wasn't able to do so. And if after watching this, Brian Shaw cannot beat Leonidas Arcona, then I think before seeing Brian Shaw versus Levan Saginashvili, we are probably going to see Brian Shaw versus Richard Borman's younger brother, Duan Borman. I think that match is going to be much more closer than the Brian Shaw versus Levan match in a couple of years' time. And add on top of that, things like Devon saying that you need to move here, you need to live in Canada with us, train in our gym if you want to have a chance against Brian Shaw. Why would Devon say such a thing? Because he has practiced with both and he has now realized that Leonidas may not be on the same level. I still am sticking with the prediction which I made that Brian Shaw will lose his wrist, or at least he won't be able to take Leonidas Arcona's wrist. But instead of losing his wrist in the center, he may lose his wrist when he's going for the pin against Leonidas. And when he loses his wrist very close to the pin pad, he's going to take Leonidas down with his flop press. I want to add two things here. Just try to mix these two things up and then come with a prediction. So John Brzezinski does not have the best press in the world. He didn't have it when he was 61. And he was able to flop press Leonidas Arcona. First thing. Second thing is, Brian Shaw was able to flop press Brandon Allen. Brandon Allen lives and breathes in a King's move. His bread and butter is a defensive King's move. And Brian Shaw, with his flop press, was able to go through Brandon Allen's King's move. So why can't he do the same to Leonidas Arcona? And although my words are definitely sounding harsh towards Leonidas, just based off some practice polls, I shouldn't be doing that, probably. But I hope Leonidas takes these words in some sort of motivation to train even harder than what he's already doing as per his capacity. Robert announced that they're almost about to finalize the Alijan versus Morozov left arm match, but they just don't know when, whether it is going to happen in February or if it is going to happen in April. We'll have to wait and see. And King of the Table from now on will be in tournament format. With this announcement, I'm not really excited about it. It looks like King of the Table is already dead. Although I'm a big King of the Table fan, I would love to see great matches there. But if we think about it logically, it kind of makes sense. Unless they can grow East versus West to a very high level, it's not worth investing, or I should say diluting your money, your efforts, your time, your energy into two separate brands and try to grow them together. Maybe it doesn't make sense as of now. And that's exactly what they also think. That's why king of the table is kind of left behind. For the last few events, East versus West has been hosting a tournament a day before their super match event. Last time, Curtis Cameron and Duan Borman got an opportunity to compete on the undercard. This time, Arm Wrestling Austria represents the first edition of East vs West Arm Wrestling Challenger Cup, 28th of February. You can see the details of the event on this card. And the finals of this tournament will be available on the extended pass. You'll see it on a professional production level. They're still calling it a live stream. Dexter was saying that in professional terms, if it is within 24 hours, you can still call it a live stream. I was not aware of this fact, but it's interesting to know it now. They were also discussing whether they have too many interviews and they need to cut short on that because they have their regular live streams on YouTube. Then when the athletes arrive, they have their interviews, then either interviews or the 6-7 hour live stream that they have recently started to do. Then they have press conferences, then they have post-match interviews, then they have another post-match interviews. I also think that the interviews are kind of getting out of hand, but as a YouTuber, I like them because I get to make more content about that. But if you ask me as a fan, I would say, yeah, get rid of one of the interviews. I'm not sure which one. They will have 3 rows of fans behind the arm wrestling table in the Vienna venue. Those will be sold through tickets, obviously, and maybe tickets at a higher price so that only hardcore fans who know about the sport, who are not going to sleep there, get to sit on those chairs. I think it's an amazing decision. So now let's talk about ENGIN TERZI versus JANIS AMOLINS. This is probably the final topic of this video. It is going to be a long one, but it is going to happen in May, left arm, best of 5 super match in Istanbul. So ENGIN has done a poll about it. I've also done a poll about it. People are saying that JANIS is going to win this match. I think it is incorrect. I think ENGIN is going to win this match. In fact, ENGIN asked whether he should go for an easy super match or a difficult one. The fans said easy, and ENGIN is going for this super match. So maybe he also thinks that it is going to be an easy one for him. He gives a brief history about JANIS, how JANIS was a young youth puller in 1999 when they met for the first time. Obviously, ENGIN may have beaten him at that time. And then ENGIN talks about his own left arm accomplishments, which are pretty similar to his right arm accomplishments. That should tell you that JANIS may be in some big trouble. I show you the screenshot. You can read the whole thing yourself. But the thing is, I want to talk about 2 somewhat controversial topics about this super match. First of all, why the 82 kg weight category? Either keep it at 78, the East versus West categories, or keep it at 80, the WAF categories. 82 is kind of weird. This shows ENGIN's unprofessionalism, as I would like to call it. Why can't he cut 2 more kilos? Or maybe just convince JANIS AMOLINS to get up to 85 kilos, then make it a 85 kg super match. I'm okay with both 80 or even 78 or even 85, but not 82. Like, that's weird. That shows us that you are getting your way when you're dealing with the athletes in the negotiations about these super matches. The second thing is, as somebody mentioned, this event also has sponsors. Obviously, ENGIN is going to pay JANIS AMOLINS. And how is this not organizing an event? It is public information that ENGIN TERZI has signed a non-compete agreement. I'm not sure what the conditions of that are, but I don't think non-compete agreements just talk about whether you make some money from the event or not. Like, the athletes are getting paid, the cameraman is going to get paid, the editor is going to get paid. So basically, it is an organization that ENGIN has created now. What are your thoughts about it? Please mention in the comments, like the video. I'll see you again.